This morning, I will tell you about the Japanese language, culture, and history. I will tell you about the Japanese language. Then, language and religion. First of all, we have a long history about the Japanese endemic language, but no letters, only the words. So long ago, about before 5th century, Japanese endemic language, like traditional religion and language. Traditional religion means that another word, animism. This is the Japanese traditional religion. And we have still now this influence, like Shintoism. This is the origin of Shintoism. Then this Shintoism, for example, we have so many shrines around here, still now. Then we have the 2,500 years history. Okay? And the 3rd century to 4th century, another religion, Buddhism, came from China to Japan. This is another historical background we have. Then we introduced the kanji character and Buddhism to Japanese history using kanji character like here, a, I, U, E, O. This one. An and I, U, E, O. Those kanji characters and phonetics. Then special meanings for ideographic, for special meaning, each kanji characters. And changed the symbol like a and using much more, how to say, I, U, E, O. This kanji character originally having special meanings, but no more for hiragana, only the phonetics, sounds only. Okay? Then right now we are using this type of hiragana phonographic meaning. Okay? And another characteristics are I, U, E, O. We called katakana and just the phonographic meaning. Okay? Then you may have the handout like this. Okay? Then the basic 5 sounds are I, U, E, O. We have the 5 basic sounds here. Okay. And another ka, sa. Ka means K. K. And join together a, then ka. Can you understand? And ka, and I, and ki. Can you understand? This phonograph. And ku, ku, K-U, ku. Okay. Next, K-E, K. And K-O, then ko. Okay. Then next sound is that S. And S-A, and sa. And next S-E, I. Then C. Okay? And S-U, su. Okay? S-A, E, se. S-E, se. and S-O, so. Okay? Next sound is T. And join together with A and ta. And next T, I, T, and chi. Okay. And T, U, tu. Then ts, tu, tu. All sound tu. But right now we sound tu. Okay. And T-E, te. And T-O, to. Okay. And next, N, and join together A, na. And N-I, ni. And N-U, nu. And next, N-E, ne. And N-O, no. Next is H-A, ha. Ha. Okay? Next, H-I, he. And next, F and U, fu. Then H-E, he. And H-O, ho. And next, M-A, ma. And next, M-I, mi. And next, M-U, mu. And next, M-E, me. M-O, mo. And next, Y-A, ya. And next, Y-U, you. And next, Y-O, yo. And R-A, la. And R-I-D. And next, R-U, lu. And next, R-E, le. And R-O, lo. And the last, W-A, wa. Next, wo. This is special, wo. Okay? And the last, Okay? Then those are roughly speaking 50 sounds and 50 hiragana. Then we called 50 aiueo table. Okay? This is the basic letter hiragana. Hiragana. And Japanese pupils must learn from the primary school about those hiragana letters, basics. And next, learning about katakana. And thousands of special meaning ideographic kanji characters. Okay? Then join together and mixing together all the kanji and hiragana and katakana. This is very difficult, I think, to learn. Okay? But the Kirill letter is very difficult for me to learn. You are very familiar for the Kirill letter. Okay. Okay, this is the Japanese basic letters. Okay. And Japanese language is documented using kanji and hiragana and katakana, mixing together. So complex. And 6th century Buddhism came from China through India. Okay? And 16th century Christianity, especially the Xavier from Spain, the missionary came to Japan for the Christianity to extend whole Japanese island. And also introduction and adaptation of Chinese culture and science, some Western influences, especially after Meiji era. Those 160 years, we are introducing the Western culture and science to this country. Later, I will tell you the history. And this is the brief history, the old history and culture. And the Japanese religion, I dare to tell you that it's a very funny story, but here is the statistics for the some about Japanese. 70% Japanese people believe Buddhism. Okay, and another 70% believing the Shintoism. What is the meaning? The total 140%. What's the meaning of this? This is very special in the world. Maybe in your country, maybe 80% Christianity, isn't it? And 20% another religion. Okay? The total 100%. But Japanese tradition and religion, 60%, 70%, and another 70%, means that usually the people are believing both Shintoism and Buddhism. Okay, it is a funny story. And also, some are believing Christianity. For example, my grandfather believed the Shintoism, and my mother believed the Buddhism, and my father was keen Christian. And it is a very funny story. What religion must I believe? It was my confusion. And still now, I can't believe any Buddhism or nor Shintoism nor Christianity. It was the very funny story in my family, okay? Like this. Japanese religion is very confusing. Okay? Another word, if the beginning of the year, we will visit a shrine to pray. Okay? Or ceremony of the temple of the Buddhism, or mixing up, and we can eat everything. Okay, like that. This is a funny Japanese culture background and religious background. Okay. Then Japanese colloquial language has basic sound. Those I told you about using the Aiueo hiragana table, and also basic sound is a, I, U, E, O. Okay, and some consonants, K, ka, kiku, keko, and another S, sashisu, so, T, tachitsudo, naninune no, hahifu, heho, mamimume mo, yai, yu, yo, rarirurero, wa, o, un. I showed you the table. Okay? Can you understand? Okay? This consonant and basic vowels to join together. Okay? Then, like using the special hiragana or kanji, katakana. Okay? And then kanji letters have each special ideographic meaning. Then it is so confusing. But Japanese students must learn what is the meaning of that kanji letters. Okay? But originally, those kanji letters came from mainland China to Japan. And we are now combining kanji character special meaning and hiragana and katakana and mixing together. Okay? And you can use the JapaneseLesson.com/conversation basic Japanese basic, maybe this is the chapter name. If you have the mobile phone, could you please visit that address? Then next slide is that Japanese language, tradition and agriculture. I will tell you about. We have the historically Japanese animes and animal hunting and plant herbalization. This is the old ancient time. Collecting the plant or killing the wild animals to eat. This was the history. And about 2,500 years ago, before the Christ 5th century, the rice cultivation came to Japan through mainland China. And rice monoculture system we have, breeding the rice and to harvest it and eat. Okay? Then we have developed the traditional agriculture for the rice breeding, and the rice necessary for the water to propagate. Then we have the wetland development near the sea coast. Okay? Then water management for rice paddy. It was very important for the irrigation for the rice paddy. And development of irrigation system. And irrigation pond and canal we needed. Then especially around here, the rain precipitation is not so. Then near here, so many small ponds. And to keep the water until the winter. Then spring, we will bring the water using the canal to the paddy and to breed the rice. This is a Japanese technology. And around here, even our campus, you will see small pond. This was very important for the lower land to irrigate. Okay? Then, near Yamanaka Kaikan, you are around the pond. Okay? Then, rice was the most important crops in Japan. We dependent for the rice propagation and development of rice exchange system around all over Japan. Trading the rice. And Anno Domini, 19th century, the Meiji Restoration, we have the revolution of the Japanese culture. Those are the ancient Japanese systems. Only Japan and some relation to the mainland China. This is the Japanese islands and Korean Peninsula. and mainland China. Relation was around like this. Then restricted around Far East area. And around here, some relation to your country. But at that moment, the Western colonialization was very strong from the Europe to coming like this to the mainland China or Korean Peninsula and Japan, closed the door to the Western colonialization. Okay? But we have the Meiji Restoration to open the door all over the world. Okay? From this moment, we have the Industrial Revolution and promotion of industry, especially for the heavy industry. Okay? And introduction of Western science. Okay? And labor turnover from primary industry, agriculture, or fishery, we depended. But from this revolution, not so much for primary industry, for secondary industry, for the industrialization, okay? Especially for the heavy industry. And the military expansion and Asian invasion. This is the black history. Okay? So because the old time, Edo time we called. Edo time, the old system, we have chonmage here and wearing the sword. Samurai time. Okay? But from here, westernized time, revolution. Okay? This is a drastic change in Japan. And also, the heavy industry, especially the military purpose. Then, the first war was between China and Japan. And next was China, Russia, and Japan. We have the two wars. Okay? Then we have the some epoch-making change here, but all time, once more, to tell you about the Japanese history. So we had the Asian isolation time. Ancient time, we isolated, especially China and Korean Peninsula and Japan, was closed the door to Western countries. So because that from the the prevention for European colonialization. Okay? Then, especially in Japan, national securation order by Edo regime closed the door to the outside. But only the Nagasaki, only one port to the open to the Dutch. But another, for example, United States, United Kingdom, Holland, then another, Germany or French, closed the door. For example, China, those green letters are showing the China. China is also closing. But United Kingdom came to China to exchange the goods. One good is opium, bringing the UK to opium to China. And UK brought from China tea or silver or something like that. Then there was a war between China and the United Kingdom, Great Britain. We call it the Opium War. Okay? But at that time, the China was very weak in military power. And United Kingdom win the war, Opium War, and that was the unequal treaty between UK and China for Treaty of Nanjing Treaty. Then China lose the Hong Kong. Then we call the Hong Kong Cession. Okay? This was the between UK and China. And the Japanese system, the perfectly close to UK or another European power. But 1853 or 1873, US commanders Perry came to Japan to open. And collapse of Edo regime this year. And Japanese restoration. And opened the door to Western countries. And also, not only US, but at that time, the Russian people came to Japan to open. Okay? Then, this is the epoch-making time for Meiji era, Meiji Restoration. And Japanese social system collapsed and changed. Then, just after the corruption or restoration, we established the General Staff Office of Japanese military. Okay? And national prosperity and defense. Okay? And increase armament. And imperialism. We have the emperor, like Tsar in the Russia, or Russia, you have the Tsar, and we have the emperor. And focusing for the heavy industrialization, for making the warship or very big cannon or a tank or something like that. Okay? This was maybe some black history to going to rushing to war at that moment. Okay? But we close the door to Western science. But at that moment, 304, almost 400 years history, we had developed the Japanese endemic science. Okay? Close the door. And inside Japan, we have developed the special mathematics. We called Wasan. Wasan means special Japanese way of mathematics. Okay? Very special, specific Japanese mathematics. And herbalism. Herbalism means that some plant usage for the medical use. Okay? And agricultural technology, especially for the rice production inside Japan. Okay? And also only one from the southern part of Japan at Nagasaki, we only open to the Dutch country through Dutch anatomical textbook to introduce Japan. And using this anatomical book, translate it into Japanese using kanji letters. We called Dutch studies. Dutch means this Holland. And using those literature to translate into Japanese using kanji. Then foreign technical terms translate into Japanese kanji letters. This is the history. And after the Meiji Restoration, collapse of the Edo regime, then we opened the door to Western countries. And at that moment, establishment of the system for formal education. Just after only 5 years ago, later than the corruption, we changed the system drastically, and the education system introduced. And another introduction of Western science, especially inviting the European or American professor to Japan, to those developed countries invited the professors. We called Oyatoi Gaikokujin. We called invited the foreign scholars to Japan. And dispatch students to developed countries. We called ryugakusei. You are coming from Russia to here. But at that moment, so many Japanese younger generation dispatched to developed country. But it is a funny story, but usually the colonialized countries are so much influence from the special, for example, African countries, for example, British colonialized country is using the English still now. In Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, or such countries are still now using English. Or South American countries colonialized by Spain. Then those countries are still now using Spanish, isn't it? This is the actual story of those colonialized countries. But Japan was very happy, so because we have never to colonialized. Then we selected what is the best way to dispatch our students for learning botany or learning zoology, animal science, and botanical science. I am originally trained as a biologist. Then, at that moment, the top country of the botany was Germany. Then so many students were dispatched to Germany to learn biological, especially botanical science. Okay? And at that moment, the animal science was very much developed in the United States. Then the Japanese student dispatched to America to learn the animal science or something like that. Then several countries And another funny story was that the military the French military was the best in the world, influenced from the Napoleon. Okay, then Japanese military dispatched so many students to learn the military drill to the French, and Japanese naval system, Navy, dispatched the student to United Kingdom. At that time, then they are coming back. But Japanese Navy and Japanese Army, from French influence and British influence of Navy, was not so good relation. It is a funny story. Okay. And after that, the students came back to Japan, and they devoted their time for the scientific research for in Japan. Okay, and also translation of technical terms into Japanese. Okay, this was very influential for the education in Japan. It was very important. Almost all the technical terms are translated into Japanese using kanji letters. Okay? This is very special. And right now, still now, in the family, the pupils or infant or kid can learn from the parent using Japanese. In primary school, they will learn using Japanese. And even the graduate school, okay, university or graduate school, they can learn using Japanese only. Okay? This was very important tool for the Japanese development using Japanese language.